Attention all podcasts of the Solar Federation. We have assumed control. We have assumed control. We have assumed control.
The Intergalactic Boombox.
Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga. I can't stop this feeling. Deep inside of me. I'm hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing. Poison for Cusco. Cusco's poison.
Put your hands together for Kronk. Thank you, big guy. Backed by Macapella and the Derving Whirlishes Symphony Orchestra. Welcome to the Intergalactic Boombox. My name is Kyle Hebert, and I talk to myself a lot in different voices. But it's easier to just pretend that the Intergalactic Boombox is a giant spaceship in orbit, high above the Earth, hijacking your brainwaves so I can tell you geek and pop culture news. It just blows my mind that we now live in a world where Harry Potter will be portraying Weird Al. And mullets are supposedly going to come back in style this year.
The question of the week.
What fictional land or planet would you want to live? Dave Jones from Podcasting 2.0 says, probably one of the southern towns of Skyrim. Maybe settle down with a little farm, since I took an arrow to the knee. Message for you, sir. Oh, and thank you for the 2112 Rush boost. Using Cast-O-Matic, one of many awesome Podcasting 2.0 apps available at newpodcastapps.com. Wink, wink. Voice actor Mark Allen Jr. says, Valdemar from Mercedes Lackey's book series. Travis Bonahan says, Pokemon. Vlog Games 2 says JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Leo Focia says probably either Naboo from Star Wars or Artemis from the Dune novels. Goldie Smack says Dragon Ball. I don't care if I'm just getting killed and brought back every time a villain blows up the planet. I'm going to learn to fly. Michelle Travis, I would want to live in Minas Tirith from the MMO version of Lord of the Rings. Patrick Zalatoris says, I'd love to live in Hunter World. And Barney Schaefer from Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Every time I think about Wisconsin, I think about cheese curds. He would like to live in Foon, a magical land from Hello from the Magic Tavern podcast. Who's your favorite comic or manga artist? Too many to name for me, but what pops into my mind first is like Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, and Kelly Jones, whose style I first fell in love with in the 90s, going way back to the Season of Mist story arc of Sandman by Neil Gaiman. He's also done a lot of Batman. He can really draw Batman really well. So who's your favorite comic or manga artist? At Boombox Pod.
Under the veil of night, he strikes fear into the hearts of criminals with his ominous presence, dishing out vigilante justice. I'm, of course, talking about the other costume detective, Moon Knight. Disney Plus dropped the trailer featuring fan fave Oscar Isaac. If you're not familiar with Moon Knight, let me read you this blurb from the Marvel press release. Moon Knight is a new globe-trotting action-adventure series featuring a complex vigilante who suffers from dissociative identity disorder. Say that fast 5 times. The multiple identities who live inside him find themselves thrust into a deadly war of the gods against the backdrop of modern and ancient Egypt. You know, I will say that out of all the Marvel shows, this is the one I've been excited about the most. I used to read Moon Knight as a teen, and I feel pretty confident this series will be the best Marvel one yet, and certainly blow Hawkeye away. I mean, come on. Moon Knight doesn't have superpowers, but yeah, you know, I'm still wondering how Hawkeye's wife didn't think there was something fishy going on between him and Kate Bishop. You know, the whole miss me yet text. Yeah, sure, you're fighting crime. Is that what they call it nowadays?
And now, Moon Knight, literal trailer. Poe, or beardless Duke Leto, just can't solve Rubik's Cube. He thinks he's British. Is he dreaming, or is he held prisoner in Annie Wilkes' cabin from Misery? Sleep-deprived montage while hip-hop glitch song blares. Is he spending way too much time at the Egypt exhibit at the museum? Stop me if you've heard this one. A mummy walks into an elevator. Oh wait, it's just a really old lady. Same thing? Soundtrack tells him to hold the phone repeatedly. Fourth wall break, cause he's holding a phone. Motorola Razr, how 2005. Girl on the other end of the call says, oh hi Mark. Who wants to join a hippie cult? Steven/Mark realizes the thrill of open carry. Then he falls just like Hans Gruber. Embrace the chaos. When in doubt, punch a werewolf. Cameraman, I'm coming for you. Batman. Oscar Isaac juggling multiple personalities while psychically linked with an other dimensional god. Moon Knight. Cool.
From geek god to Hollywood douchebag. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Joss Whedon directed MCU Avengers' first 2 cinematic adventures. He swooped in to save the day, on Justice League. Whedonite's excitement was severely dimmed after the release of that film. Then Cyborg's actor Ray Fisher came out, and this was long before the Snyder Cut, and said that Whedon was verbally abusive and highly unprofessional. Gal Gadot said the same thing. Whedon's cred tanked, his streaming show The Nevers crashed and burned, and out of nowhere, Whedon has come forth and addressed the accusations. He gracefully accepted responsibility. Just kidding. He called Ray Fisher a bad actor in both senses. He denied threatening Gal's career, claiming a language barrier since English isn't her first language.
Who the boss? It ain't Joss.
Throw him out the airlock.
Bye-bye.
The Mexican government raided a warehouse and found exactly what they were suspecting. Drugs? Nope. Missing persons? A buttload of cereal. 380,000 boxes, to be exact, of Kellogg's cereal, such as Special K and Corn Flakes. Are they high in sugar? Sugar police attacking? That's not it. As a response to a huge obesity problem in the country, laws have been enacted to crack down on unhealthy food, including those being marketed to children with the use of cartoon mascots. Kind of reminds me of the 60s when cartoons used to promote cigarettes. Check the
Link in the show notes
to see an actual Winston cigarettes commercial featuring the Flintstones. In the late 70s, early 80s, I would see candy cigarettes on the candy aisle with the mock packaging. Yeah, parents loved that. But with cereal, like Corn Flakes, you see a picture of a chicken, but the chicken isn't talking or anything. It's not really a mascot. It's more like a logo. I'm curious if after the case is settled, what are they going to do with all these boxes of cereal? Since they have a moral objection to it, why don't they just give it to us? We can fill a lot of homeless shelters. Forget Costco, grab a pallet, and have a questionably nutritious breakfast. Could Furiosa be coming to the MCU? Well, her actress might be. Insiders at Giant Freakin' Robot claim Charlize Theron, not Theron, it's Theron, trust me, has been cast as... nobody knows. Want to place your bets? Sue Storm? Dazzler? Squirrel Girl? Elektra? American Dream? Just a rumor at this point, but hey, how about we just recast Captain Marvel? Oh, Kevin Feige, make it happen! James Gunn is back. And this time on the small screen, HBO Max to be exact. With his follow-up to The Suicide Squad, John Cena's character Christopher Smith has his own 8-episode show, Peacemaker. I'm loving it. I actually like it more than Suicide Squad. It's just as crude and rowdy, actually more so, but it's hilarious, man. Cena's always had great comedic timing, and his character is like Captain America's patriotism mashed up with Deadpool sensibilities. Throw in the Tick in there as well. The character of Christopher Smith wants to be a hero just so badly, and his dad, Augie Smith, is the furthest thing from a supportive parent. Peacemaker is part of a crew of top-secret government operatives doing their best to keep him focused on the mission at hand and from screwing up more than he already has. And there is plenty to screw up here. The gang's all here. Harcourt, Economos, Myrn, along with new member Adebayo, all on the trail of a new type of metahuman called butterflies. Vigilante shows up here as a fanboy and stalker of Peacemaker. The show has snappy, rapid-fire dialogue, really good character building and interactions, and a nice, varied hairband rock soundtrack, full of super deep cuts. I mean, songs I never heard of, but bands I have, like the Choir Boys. What? The show instantly hooks you with an exponentially catchy title song performed as a full-on cast dance number. Much like Hawkeye's Trick Arrows, the show is teasing a bevy of trick Peacemaker helmets that are far more violently entertaining. The show is a hard R for a reason, so if you're like me, still jonesing for another season of The Boys, this more than makes up for the wait. Hey, remember that video game that languished in development hell for like 7-8 years and then came out and they had the big E3 announcement with a certain movie star attached?
No, you're breathtaking.
Cyberpunk. Who's playing that anymore? Cyberpunk is getting its first update of the year. And now, since the whole game is a bug, the update will travel back in time and retcon the launch and fix everything so they can release an actual player-ready game in 2030. Keanu Reeves is expected to return as Johnny Silverhand and make Warner Brothers not greenlight a fourth Matrix movie. Say, you got any more of them blue pills? A YouTube video proclaims the biggest fraud in the entire history of Pokemon. Check the link in the show notes. Title of the video says it all. I lost $3.5 million on fake Pokemon cards. Video shows YouTube star Logan Paul and his crew at a Chicago hotel with a reputable card authenticator whose opinion was that a sealed box of supposed first edition Pokemon cards was not tampered with, at least, so what's in the box? The boxes inside the cardboard box looked legit, but felt puffy. So instead of first edition Pokemon cards, the packs contained G.I. Joe cards. Moral of the story, kids? You shouldn't buy things that cost more money than most of us will see in a lifetime. And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah!
I just wanted to say that. Ah, north of the Rockies, you are on the air. Who dis?
I'm Drew Grimes.
Sup, Drew?
I host a true crime podcast.
Really? What's it called? Let me guess.
Drew Grimes True Crime Podcast.
Yeah, that's great.
I heard your story about the fake Pokemon cards, and it seems you've solved one of the greatest mysteries of all time.
Say huh?
Joe Palooka from Grover's Mill, New Jersey, a 46-year-old basement-dwelling neckbeard, used to spend his summers assembling counterfeit Pokemon card boxes until his bootleg empire came crashing down around him. His fake first edition box was stolen, and Palooka vanished without a trace. Was he simply Poke missing, or was he Poke murdered? Stay tuned for an all-new Drew Grime True Crime Podcast after the Intergalactic Boombox.
How?
Brought to you by Joe Palooka's Pirate Merch Emporium.
Drew, this is not a live stream, dude.
But why not? These mysteries and more coming up on...
Okay, bye-bye. Time to shout out to my sat cats. That's right, the cats who shat sats, a.k.a. Satoshi's Little Bits of Bitcoin. This is the future of supporting content creators. What you need to do is grab a Podcasting 2.0 app, absolutely free, from newpodcastapps.com. Load up your podcast wallet with funds, set the dials to stream any amount you want per minute, or a custom amount, and you are giving value for value. No middleman. Dreb Scott says, another great show, go podcasting, and in a baller boost of over 10,000 sats with a note, gotta love conspiracy. Tyron from the Mere Mortals podcast sent a row of ducks, 2,222 sats with his boostagram message. Bit late with my New Year's boost, but here it is, Kyle. Love everything you do, and the podcast is killer. Looking forward to what you have in store for 2022. Go podcasting! Dave Jones from the Podcasting 2.0 podcast recognized my ode to Rush in the new show intro for the year. He says, yes! R.I.P. Neil Peart, the late drummer. And he even dropped a deuce boost. Believe me, that's a good thing. Thanks to Anonymous as well for streaming some sats. All this happens in the background as you listen to the show. You don't even have to think about it. Apple, Google, Spotify, all the big names, they don't have this feature. They don't have images. They don't have chapters. What do you got to lose? Newpodcastapps.com. Listen to this show on a Podcast 2.0 app for the enhanced experience. Oh, look at the time. Another IBB in the can. If you like the show, do me a solid. Tell a friend. And I leave you with this thought. Remember, failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor. And we all have an overabundance of packets in our kitchen drawer. Some mild, some a real colon blaster. Till next time, I am out of here.